You can do it a cappella. Okay, I try not to laugh. $4.93, she said. Yeah. Yeah, $4.93. You know that one, I think. And at the well, seeking for things that would not satisfy. And then I seeking from my well that never shall run dry. Fill my cup, I lift it up, come and quench this thirsting of my soul. Thank you. So what are the? How many's been coming to all of these lectures? Marguerite's the only one. Jeanette. You might have missed one. Okay. So do you know what the purpose of these meetings are? To be more healthy. Okay. Any other ideas? Live longer, be more healthy, smile more. Okay. Teach other people to live healthier. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. There you go. That's right. Happy. Yeah. That's right. That's true. Or at least not as much as maybe you might have had otherwise. I know that they want to do outreach for the community eventually, the health committee, you know. So they said, well, let's make sure all the church members are on the same page. You know, we're all on the same page. So then when we bring people from the community, we're all kind of in the same. So this is kind of like we're trying to bring the church to get up to speed on all these natural remedies, right? Newstart. That's like the 8 natural remedies. So anyway, this week is about air. And so if you haven't, has anyone watched them at least on the internet? No. Jeremiah, are we streaming?
Yeah, we're streaming.
Okay, so we're on the internet. Last week's, I guess, was she didn't know that it was streaming, so she asked not to have it. So you can't watch last week's on the internet. But anyway, so we're going to talk about air. I'll try to be quick so you don't get tired here, worn out from a long Sabbath, so you have to rest from the Sabbath. So anyway, okay, so fresh air. So without air, okay, so how many in a few minutes you'd have brain damage, right? 5 minutes starts brain damage. So that's how important air is. So what is it that makes fresh air different from other air? Fresh air is chemically different than the recirculating indoor air. The oxygen molecule in fresh air is negatively charged. The negatively charged oxygen has many benefits. So let me just, I guess we're on the second slide here. Improve concentration, alertness, and memory. It can even improve your sleep and stabilize your nervous system. So air is important because it has oxygen, which is our body's most important physical need. Somebody asked me how much oxygen is in the air we breathe. Everybody know that? I guess we're going to get to that here in a second. Okay, so when we breathe, the red blood cells pick up the oxygen from our lungs and carry it over the body. So, but when air is breathed and rebreathed over and over, not only does the oxygen content decrease, but carbon dioxide and other wastes increase. So I don't know what slide I'm on here. I'm confused here. Okay, tobacco. So we can see all the things that mess up our air here. The pollutants, chemicals, formaldehyde, dust. So it's important that to be well ventilated. There are many pollutants. Carbon monoxide, carbon interferes with the red blood cells, and smog and so on. Irritates the lungs. When ozone irritates the lungs, if you have too much of it. And I know, anybody ever had these ozone machines that are supposed to, y'all familiar with those things? They're supposed to clean your indoor air, right? Yeah. That's the question. So here it's listed as a pollutant. This one? So these are the symptoms of poor ventilation, right? Headache, drowsiness, poor concentration. You see anything in there? Depression. So some of these things are just because the air is not circulating well, and you're indoors too much. You're not breathing long. I'm going to get into something here in a minute about breathing that Rodica has been advertising. So, anyway. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know why. Okay, so 6 and 10, okay, you can see what it says up there. Americans live in areas with unhealthy levels of air pollution. That's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the cities. So the American Lung Association puts out their annual State of the Air report. You can go to a website. It's called stateoftheair.org. And you can see what the air quality is. In San Diego, air is not good, I guess, according to that. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I thought, well, anyway, if you're near the coast, I don't think it's as bad as... I think it's taking an average for the whole area. So if you're near the coast, it's not as bad as out, when you get out further from the coast. Flee to the mountains, mountains and this, That's right. So I guess, okay. I lost track of where I am. If you want to just hold on 1 second. Okay. Number 7 here. Okay, it doesn't have, it was, okay. Okay, and then we see the most people at risk from bad air are the children and elderly, minorities, and lower income groups. And it says, okay, so people with asthma, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, obviously anyone with long-term lung disease, heart disease, or diabetes. 15% of lung cancers worldwide are caused by radon gas. Everybody know that? I guess that can be changed. So if they say you should find out if there's radon in your home. It's a simple test. So air pollution can shorten life, and a drop in pollution can increase life expectancy, obviously. And of course, busy highways, heavy traffic contribute to that. So that's one of the reasons we have the problem here. Yeah, this picture's kind of. So the dog even doesn't appreciate it. So cities. Okay, so we have some cities. I guess there were some cities that were listed as the worst air quality. Phoenix, Scottsdale, Bakersfield, Los Angeles, Long Beach, Riverside. I guess all these cities, California has got a lot of smog there. So this was a couple of years ago, so 4 years ago. And then the best cities, I guess, for air: Cheyenne, Wyoming; Santa Fe, New Mexico; Honolulu; Anchorage; Great Falls. So now you know where to go, I guess. Huh? So, what can we do with the air? Smoke-free zone. Okay, in our house, we can declare our home a smoke-free zone. Tell people to smoke outside. Keep the humidity levels under 50%. I always thought it was good to be humid, but use a dehumidifier or air conditioner as needed. Fix all leaks and drips in the home. Standing water and high humidity encourage the growth of mold and other pollutants. Protect against radon and invisible gas, which I mentioned here, which is a leading cause of lung cancer. Every home should be tested, since radon can be found in any home and it can be fixed. And then make sure anything that burns gas is vented to the outdoors. Put away food. Cover trash and use baits to control pests like cockroaches. Avoid burning wood because it adds pollution indoors and out. And air out your home in the morning or at night may be best because it's less smoggy. Also, exercise increases circulation of oxygen-rich blood to all areas of the body, resulting in more energy. And then exercise in the early morning hours if you live too close to a bad air quality city, which I guess it depends on where you live in San Diego. Like I said, you can check the air quality levels. Like I said, I checked, and I think it's just for the whole area. I haven't seen anything divided out based on where in the city. And avoid exercising outdoors when the pollution is high, obviously. Whenever you can, get to fresh air in the country and mountains, away from busy highway traffic. Okay, and then there's that website. One of them, airnow.gov is one, and stateoftheair.org. So, practice good posture. Sit up straight, shoulders back, and so you can breathe deeper. It says do this several times a day to clear your mind and increase your energy level. Deep breathing can relieve headaches, backaches, stomach aches, and sleepiness. Does everybody know that? I didn't know that. You could relieve headaches and backaches even by breathing deep. Stomach aches and sleeplessness. So it allows the blood pressure to return to normal and releases endorphins into the bloodstream. So there's something I got from Ellen White's writings from, I knew what this stood for, PC. Anybody know which book that is? PC? I can't remember. It says, do this several times a day to clear your mind and increase your, I'm sorry, I just read that. And that was another magazine. So this is from PC. Encourage the patients to breathe the fresh air. Teach them how to breathe deep and how to exercise their muscles. Teach them to use the abdominal muscles in breathing. Does everybody know that? People in the choir knew that. Supposed to know that. Next in importance to right position are respiration and vocal culture. This is, I'm reading now from Education. The one who sits and stands erect is more likely than others to breathe properly. But the teacher should impress upon his pupils the importance of deep breathing. Show how the healthy action of the respiratory organs assisting the circulation of the blood invigorates the whole system, excites the appetite, promotes digestion, and induces sound, sweet sleep, thus not only refreshing the body but soothing and tranquilizing the mind. And while the importance of deep breathing is shown, the best practice should be insisted upon. Let exercise be given which will promote this and see that the habit becomes established. The training of the voice has an important place in physical culture, since it tends to expand and strengthen the lungs, and thus to ward off disease. So see, being in the choirs helps avoid disease. Just a little side note there. She didn't say that. I was just to ensure correct delivery in reading and speaking. See that the abdominal muscles have full play in breathing and that the respiratory organs are unrestricted. Let the strain come on the muscles of the abdomen rather than on those of the throat. Great weariness and serious disease of the throat and lungs may thus be prevented. So what I was going to do here, so I went on YouTube and found a website where this guy talks about how to breathe properly. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And he's a singer, so he's telling people who want to sing, but it actually is it's good in general if you want to learn how to breathe deeply. I mean, I thought, well, Ellen White says, okay, so can everybody just stand up for a second? I want to see, so we can do this right here if you're able to stand up. So just take a deep breath. Okay, I saw some people. So do you find yourself doing up here or down here more? So it's more up here, right? So he said there's 3 exercises you can do. I want to go away from the mic. One is when you're breathing, you just take a breath in and make sure the air comes down here and that this doesn't move. So just take a breath and just hold one hand here and one hand here. So if you make sure your air comes in down here more than here, because your diaphragm is the muscle that you use to breathe. Is everybody familiar with the diaphragm? So it's shaped like a bowl, upside down bowl, and when you breathe, it pulls flat so that the air pulls down into it, and then when you breathe out, it goes back up into that shape. So the other exercise, when you're breathing, since the diaphragm is here, it's not down here actually. It's down in this area. It's in this area right below. So you all see what I'm saying here? So he says the next thing to do is when you breathe in, to make sure that this part goes out a little bit. You want this side to go out as you're breathing in. So that's another way of seeing that you're breathing with your diaphragm. The other thing is if you want to put your hands on your back, press on your back, kind of like this, and hunch over just a little bit. And then when you breathe in, you also use your back muscles. So you should feel your back muscles when you breathe in should be pushing it towards your hands. Do you feel that? So anyway, those are 3 things he says you can do. And then the other thing he says you do is you're going to squeeze here while you're breathing. He says you do that like, so you squeeze as you breathe in. And you should feel the muscles all the way around, pushing against your hands as you're squeezing, right? So that's how you know you're using the right muscles. Just do that like 10 times, and then rest for 30 seconds, 10 times. Do that like 3 times a day, and you'll strengthen the diaphragm, which helps you to do deep breathing properly. You can all sit down now. That was my little breathing thing. What's Ellen White said, deep breathing. She doesn't explain all that stuff. So now that we have YouTube, I just saved you guys 15 minutes of YouTube. Okay, there's another thing. Oh, let me go back to this for a second. So, talks about also eating foods that are not so high in fats as a way of helping your blood to... Now, you all feel a little bit better having done that? Mind a little clearer? So it helps. Then we can get through the next 10 minutes. Okay. Especially after you just ate, right? So the blood doesn't clump together if you don't eat so much fat. So you can see the difference in the picture there between the blood with fat and the blood without fat. And it talks about wearing loose, comfortable clothing, keeping some live plants indoors. Does anybody do that? Plants indoors? Has anyone seen there's a video about the plants you can put indoors that get rid of pollution? You've heard of that? You've seen that? Nobody, or some of you haven't seen that. So I thought, let's watch that real quick. Let me see, do I have? So let's just make sure. Jeremiah, you got it on the screen there? Or on the stream? Okay.
Some 17 years ago, I became allergic to Delhi's air. My doctors told me that my lung capacity had gone down to 70%, and it was killing me. With the help of IIT, Terry, and learnings from NASA, we discovered that there are 3 basic green plants, common green plants, with which we can grow all the fresh air we need indoors to keep us healthy. We've also found that you can reduce the fresh air requirements into the building while maintaining industry indoor air quality standards. The 3 plants are areca palm, mother-in-law's tongue, and money plant. The botanical names are in front of you. Areca palm is a plant which removes CO2 and converts it into oxygen. We need 4 shoulder-high plants per person, and in terms of plant care, we need to wipe the leaves every day in Delhi, and perhaps once a week in cleaner air cities. We have to grow them in vermi manure, which is sterile, or hydroponics, and take them outdoors every 3 to 4 months. The second plant is mother-in-law's tongue, which is again a very common plant, and we call it a bedroom plant because it converts CO2 into oxygen at night. And we need 6 to 8 waist-high plants per person. The third plant is money plant, and this is again a very common plant, preferably grows in hydroponics. And this particular plant removes formaldehydes and other volatile chemicals. With these 3 plants, you can grow all the fresh air you need. In fact, you could be in a bottle with a cap on top, and you would not die at all, and you would not need any fresh air. We have tried these plants at our own building in Delhi, which is a 50,000 square feet, 20-year-old building, and it has close to 1,200 such plants for 300 occupants. Our studies have found that there is a 42% probability of one's blood oxygen going up by 1% if one stays indoors in this building for 10 hours. The government of India has discovered or published a study to show that this is the healthiest building in New Delhi. And the studies show that there is compared to other buildings, there is a reduced incidence of eye irritation by 52%, respiratory systems by 34%, headaches by 24%, lung impairment by 12%, and asthma by 9%. And this study has been published on September 8, 2008, and it's available on the Government of India website. Our experience points to an amazing increase in human productivity by over 20% by using these plants, and also a reduction in energy requirements in buildings by an outstanding 15% because you need less fresh air. We're now replicating this in a 1.75 million square feet building, which will have 60,000 indoor plants. Why is this important? It is also important for the environment because the world's energy requirements are expected to grow by 30% in the next decade. 40% of the world's energy is taken up by buildings currently, and 60% of the world's population will be living in buildings in cities with a population of over 1 million in the next 15 years. And there is a growing preference for living and working in air-conditioned spaces. Be the change you want to see in the world, said Mahatma Gandhi, and thank you for listening.
So, was that interesting? I thought so. We bought one of these plants, a couple of years ago? Or the 3 plants. And they had gnats in the soil. So that kind of messed up our plans. Anyway. But anyway, we still have the mother-in-law plant. I like that name. That's funny. Anyway. But yeah, there was something else I wanted to... Where is that? Here they are. I think I'm on yeah. Okay, there's 15 house plants. I thought this was interesting that that one was listed as the 15th. You guys probably can't read this, but talked about how there's a lot of different plants you can use. That areca palm that you mentioned is number 1 for getting rid of pollution in the house. So that was a good one. Lady palm is another one. If anybody's interested, I can give this website out somewhere. Maybe I'll put it up on YouTube along with this presentation. So yeah. But anyway, it has a lot of information about the kind of stuff that you can do with these plants. Like if you have just put in brand new carpet, there's a lot of formaldehyde, and there's a plant that just loves that. So you put the plant in there when you put new carpet in. I don't know which one is that. And it just, eats up all the bad stuff. I think it's this rubber plant. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of different plants that can do a lot of good stuff. So God designed a lot of stuff to get rid of the bad stuff. In spite of, I guess He knew we were going to live in polluted cities, so designed these things to eat them up. Ivy, English ivy. That's another one that says that within half an hour, it gets rid of most of the pollution in your house just by putting one of those plants in. So anyway, I thought this was a good website. Let me go back to... Well, it's kind of a long name here. I don't know if you can see. I'll put it up on the... So if you go to YouTube, to our church YouTube, for this presentation, in the description, I'll stick this website link. Okay? So then you'll be able to get it that way. Sorry for the noise here. But anyway, yeah. So let me go back to this one. I think, so it just also says, to live by lakes, forests, rivers, waterfalls, seashore. I guess we got one of those. We're not far from the seashore, so. And there's a nice verse here from Jeremiah. He has made the earth by His power. He has established the world by His wisdom. He makes lightnings with rain and brings forth the wind out of His treasures. So, let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. So, but are there any questions, or besides the website link? So we can... Yeah. Let's have a prayer. I bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, thank you so much for what you did design for us, and how you made it so that no matter what the situation is, we always have choices that can help us to live healthier and have healthier air, and just things that can be for our benefit, and we thank you for that. I just want to ask you to bless the rest of this Sabbath day. Help us to continue to have our thoughts on how you designed us and ways that we can be a blessing to others as well. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. Okay. Well, thanks, everybody. That was Hope it wasn't too short for y'all. Half an hour? Okay. I think there's a memorial service is in an hour and a half or so. So maybe you should get out in the fresh air between now and then, right?